I call to order the Tuesday, March 10th, 2020 meeting of the City of Davenport Historic Preservation Commission. If you have a cell phone, please place it in the silent mode. We welcome everyone who is watching us at home on the city's channels. The commission has before it the approval of the minutes from the January 14th, 2020 meeting. Are there any changes, deletions, or additions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approval of the minutes of January 14th, 2020 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the minutes are approved. Brandon, do you have any communications tonight?
Sure. So I guess a couple of items that have occurred since our last formal meeting. We did submit the certified local government report to the state. So that has been submitted after it was signed by the mayor, approved by city council. Also submitted the National Historic District application for the commercial downtown district to the state as well. So those deadlines were met. I also attended a grant, a historic properties grant session or that outlined the grants that are available through SHPO related to, it included arts, but also historic programs. And I think most are aware, but there is a grant program specific to certified local governments in good standing, which is, you know, one of the reasons why we continue to maintain that designation. So those grants can be used to help fund National Register districts for designation to supplement some of that work. It can also be used for planning efforts. I guess they frame that it's more for new certified local governments to sort of initiate those HPCs, and then but also doing surveys, which I think is something we identified in our work plan. So those were some of the items of the highlight through that session.
Thank you.
Yep.
The commission should be aware that there's an effort in the state legislature this year to remove residential properties from the historic tax credit program. I know Alderman McGinnis has been working on that religiously. If you have a chance to speak to your local senator or representative from the State House, please express your concern that this remains as part of the historic preservation tax credit program in Iowa. Granted, the tax credits for residential properties are smaller than commercial properties, but it has made a big difference on several properties here in Davenport, one being in the Gold Coast. We have no old business tonight. We'll move on to new business, and that's case number COA 20-01, replace windows at 509 Ripley Street. The Waller Flats are part of the local landmark and National Hamburg Historic Districts. Jamie Lacardro of Lacardro Management is the petitioner. Staff report.
So this application was obviously received from Jamie. We kind of had some discussion on what windows would be appropriate for this structure. Looking back at the inventory sheet, it looked like 1/1 wood windows were what was historically appropriate for the building. And that is what has been proposed to the commission. I believe 47 windows, Quaker Classic Fit. I did leave a link to, I'm not sure if everyone got a chance to look at that. It doesn't look like we have internet. I was gonna pull it up. But I believe they're wood and they're aluminum clad, is from my understanding. You can kind of scroll to, and that's really what the scope of work is replacing those 40 windows. Currently, there are no windows in some of the fenestration and just storm windows in others. And the specs were included in the application itself, attached to it. So here you see in the survey itself that the windows would show 1/1 wood windows with the stone lintels. I did confirm they don't intend to alter the fenestration otherwise. Let's continue to zoom down here if we can. So if you're not familiar with the location, it's right on the edge of the Hamburg district, on the edge of the Hamburg district and downtown here. It's a little bit closer, but you can see along Ripley and just north of Fifth. A little bit of an overhead of the buildings, outlined in orange is the building in question, Wooler Flats. It's my understanding that the petitioner intends to replace the windows in this property initially, and then we'll be looking at the property to the north to follow. And continuing on with the inventory, you know, you could see the 1/1 style that it shows, and even more recently. But we'll see sort of in the current condition. I guess we'll look, here's just the quote from, looks like Suburban Wholesalers for the cost of replacing the windows, Classic Fit pocket windows. I believe they're single hung.
Yes.
And so here's the current condition. I think you can see that one's boarded up here on the first or second floor. Some of those are just storm windows. Some more boarded up windows near the entrance. Here's looking out. You can kind of see the condition that they're in. So it would be pretty difficult to restore anything there. So it is our recommendation. Let me pull that up so I can just read it out for you. So it's staff's recommendation that pursuant to section 1401-060C6, the Davenport City Code, that the deteriorated architectural features should or possibly be repaired rather than replaced. But in this case, where the severity of the deterioration requires replacement, the new feature shall match the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities where possible. Replacing a missing feature shall be substantiated by documentary, physical, or pictorial evidence. That was shown in the site inventory. The proposed windows would be similar to those noted in the site inventory, included a 1/1 wood window. So staff recommends approval of COA 20-01 in accordance with the submitted documentation.
Thank you very much. Would the petitioner like to address the commission on his project?
Yeah,
Step up to the podium,
sure,
please.
absolutely. Sorry, Jamie Lacandro, first time here, kind of bear with me. But I closed on these back in December, and so 509 is a lot more rough shape than what 515 is. So, you know, with these windows getting approved for 509, I'd like to just kind of do the similar style for 515. Some of those windows are in a little better shape in 515, but I would like to replace it with some, you know, something new, kind of bring it up a little bit more. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the commission? Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to be made to approve the COA as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, staff?
Cordes,
Yes.
Powers, or excuse me, that's next week, preview. Wonio,
Yes.
Free?
I have to go last.
Oh, okay. McGivern,
Yes.
Franken,
Yes.
Cochran,
Yes.
and Free.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much for your investment in the downtown and the Hamburg Historic District.
Yeah, good luck. It's a tough property.
Yeah,
There's one to the north of it that might need, some help too. If you're up to it, I don't know. It's not my.
No, I'm excited. It's gonna look really good.
Yeah, that was
So,
a sight for sore eyes and the interior is rough, so good luck.
yeah,
Hopefully you can
thanks.
get some people there.
There was actually a Hilltop credit too that came that we were able to figure out as well. So it's cool to see everybody kind of pitching in and, trying to make it work.
Perfect.
We'll move on to item number 2, and that's case number RES 20-01, and that's an HPC resolution encouraging the consideration of desirability of preserving historic character when considering changes to Davenport's local landmark parks. I will let the commission know that I am sponsoring the resolution. Staff, can you read the resolution for the commission?
Sure. So this is resolution number 2020-01. The resolution was offered by Commissioner Diane Franken, resolved by the Davenport Historic Preservation Commission, HPC, resolution encouraging the consideration of desirability of preserving historic character when considering changes to Davenport's local landmark parks. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Davenport that when considering changes to any of Davenport's local landmark parks, whatever the type of those changes may be, the Historic Preservation Commission recommends to the Park and Recreation Department and its advisory board those changes be taken with the consideration of the desirability of preserving the historic character of those parks. Any changes within these local landmark parks should be guided by the local, state, or national designation and its period of significance, taken from its original application for historic designation and referred to the National Parks Services Preservation Briefs to guide decisions in making changes to local landmark parks. And the chairperson and secretary be, and they are hereby authorized and instructed to certify to the adoption of this resolution.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I would so move.
Is there a second?
I second with one caveat, there's a small grammatical error in the paragraph that starts with now. The "it's" prior to advisory board should not have an apostrophe, it should be possessive. Other than that, I would second.
Okay. Roll call?
Am I still live? All right. Cordes,
Yes.
Wonio,
Yes.
McGivern,
Yes.
Franken,
Yes.
Cochran,
Yes.
and Free.
Yes. We have no other business tonight. We'll open it up for public forum. Brandon, would you introduce our new commission member?
Sure. This is Christine Powers. We're going to be getting to know her a little more at the next meeting. Just sat down for an introduction, sort of an orientation to the group. And I believe your swearing in is tomorrow night, or is it Thursday? Can't recall. Were you not invited?
Council
Well,
meeting's
anyway.
tomorrow night. I
Is it,
believe.
yeah, I believe tomorrow night. So it'll be official tomorrow night, but tonight she's a member of the public and gets to witness the work. But So she's excited. She comes from a background in Parks and Recreation? Has an advanced degree with Parks and Recreation, but also Museum Studies. So she's a pretty well-rounded individual and will, I believe, offer a lot to this commission.
Welcome, and thank you for volunteering. With no other business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the commission is adjourned.